All right, welcome back, everyone. This is David with Faramir's Rangers, and we got another campaign we're going to be starting. This is going to be a good one, guys. All right, one thing to note as we get started, we're going to be playing this campaign on very hard, as always. Also, in this campaign, we're going to be declaring war on every single nation before the end of turn one. I'll set you up with the rules of the campaign right now. All right, so hopefully you had a chance to pause the video or be able to read that, the rules of the engagement in this campaign. But in this, we're just going to get started doing our opening moves, getting things set up. Things are going to happen pretty quickly, so hopefully you can keep along as we go. All right, so my initial thoughts of kind of tackling this campaign right off the bat, I'm just going to tell you I'm going to shrink down our empire that we're starting out with, sell off some of these regions, just kind of consolidate things up a bit so we can... We have too much space to hold with pretty porous armies. Remember, Austria has crappy armies, so I'm selling off because France has, 10,000 in their bank when they start. So I want to take that from them so I can use that to build up my buildings around me. Obviously, we're going to come under attack by a lot of nations pretty quickly because we're surrounded. So that's going to be the main thing I'm thinking about here starting out this campaign. Getting the early moves done, getting my buildings built up as quickly as possible. I don't want them getting wrecked while they're in the process of getting built because that's a waste of all the money you invest in them. So those type of things. Okay, so a couple other things as I finish doing the ministers and getting things. You can see I only have 3,700, but this is going to quickly change for income that's expected. So we're going to continue to look at selling off our outlying regions like Transylvania. We already sold Bohemia to France, but we're gaining tech and getting money, so we can put that to building up our military. These are going to be important things for us. Getting this tech like plug bayonet. I want to strip every nation's tech that they start off with on turn one. And I'm going to do that through trading my land and also trading money like we're going to do here with France. I'm going to sell them future payments. But of course, we're going to declare war on them before they get their first payment because we declare war before the end of turn one. So they're never going to see a dime for it. Hey, it might be dirty, but, hey, the Japanese didn't let America know that they were bombing Pearl Harbor before they bombed it, so I think that's fair. Well, it's fair in love and war, They shouldn't have done the deal. And as you know, things are going to become increasingly difficult to get trades done as we do some of these trades, so this is only going to take us so far. Mughal, Maratha doesn't have that much to trade with, but the Mughal, they got 10,000, but that's not really a region I want to trade with right now. And there's obvious reasons for that. I'm wanting to take money from my neighbors that we're going to be at war with. I want to deplete their purse as much as possible so that way I can build up my military fast while they are broke at the opening turn, so I can get some opening moves done, if that makes sense. Okay, so in that kind of vein of thought, you're going to see what I'm going to look to do now with my military force consolidated now that we've sold off all those outlying regions. Two of the regions I'm not going to sell off are going to be Hungary and Croatia. Hungary is going to be under constant attack from the east, from Poland and the Ottomans. Croatia might as well, so I'm going to use those as buffers, but also I'm going to be looking at building up my military barracks in Croatia. Future is what we're looking at there. This is where we're going to be able to recruit Grenzers from. That's why we're going to build this up to be a military base, because Grenzers are going to be the future, because all of our other units are kind of crappy as Austria. But we're going to make do as much as possible until we get our Grinzers on the field, which is going to be quite a way off. Just merely thinking about Grinzers is making me super excited for what we have to come in this campaign. So, but anyways, we're going to start making our first advances before we end the first turn. We're going to start moving on Venice. It's going to be an important region for us to take. It's a very wealthy region, and we're going to try to push into Italy as much as possible. That's going to be a great place. Obviously, it's on a peninsula, so it should be fairly well protected from borders of enemies. So it should be a nice region for us to take. Now, okay, so scatterbrained as I am, I'm going to shift over to declaring war on people first. So that's where we're going to kind of start this off. Now, keep in mind, this is not going to be the end of our diplomacy with these nations, because we still will be able to trade tech and so forth with them, even though we're at war with them. I know that seems crazy, but, you know, yeah, it's not far from reality, because countries, even though they're at war, sometimes do dealings with each other. So yeah, just be prepared for that. We'll try and get anything we can out of these guys while we can. All right, I'm probably going to speed up this process of declaring war, because this is kind of like slow. So let me just fast forward this a bit. Okay, and as I declare war on all these fools, I want you guys to keep in mind one thing. I'm going to declare war on my allies last, so I drag them into this mess with me, and then I'll betray them and declare war on them at the last step. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Okay, and with declaring war on everybody, that destroys my trade, and I'm going to be pretty broke now. But luckily, I still have that 10,000 that we've been trading for. Of course, I'm still going to spend some of this money. I want to, like I said, get some of this stuff done. As now you can see, I'm going to be moving pretty much the remainder of my forces onto Bavaria, but I am going to have to garrison some troops. We are recruiting more, but we're going to have to push a lot of these troops over. Again, I want you guys to keep in mind, I don't want to stress this enough, that Austria has some of the worst units. The line infantry is the worst in the game. And yeah, I don't really start off with much decent troops to fight with. But I'm not so worried about the southern borders with the Ottomans, because they have really no cav at the beginning of the game. So I can take out everything the Ottomans have with a couple militia and a couple cav, and they won't really cause me any threat because of their lack of mobility and my ability to get in and around behind them. All right, so we're in the first intern. This is exciting. We got one turn in the books. We got 10,000 in the bank still. And we'll see what these opening moves are that these guys want to do. There is some people wanting peace, but there is no peace and no surrender. As we'll see who is going to start trying to make some moves on us. It might be till turn 2 or 3 that we really see somebody starting to come at us. Because we did trade some of these regions to our neighbors, they're probably going to be moving troops to those regions or something of that nature. We'll kind of see how it plays out. But one concern is I don't want France to become very large. It looks like they've already declared war on Württemberg, so that's not necessarily a good thing if they're able to take Württemberg and expand themselves even further, because they can become quite powerful quite quickly, and that's not something we want. All right, so Bavaria, we're going to lay siege to and kind of keep it in that realm, as I am going to try to make Bavaria a protectorate. It would be a nice buffer zone, and being a protectorate, there will be a vassal, so any lands they own, I will also own. So I can't do that with Venice, because Venice also has Moria, so that is not going to be on the table when I fight Venice, which is you know, it's whatever. But we'll look to quickly get down there to take Moria out as well at some point here in the opening turns. As you can see, now I'm bringing forward my army that was in Transylvania. We're going to consolidate. I do need to leave some men here in either Hungary or Austria so that I can be ready to defend versus anybody that comes. Prussia, Austria, hopefully will be at war. I mean, I'm sorry, Austria. I am Austria. Prussia and Poland, hopefully will be at war with each other too. So that should also give me some help. But France is on our northern border since we sold them Bohemia. But it's going to take them time to build up. So we'll see how things kind of unfold. Okay, so we still have 10,000, but we're going to continue to pour money into recruiting more more troops, because you know we're going to need them, and unfortunately, this is going to cause us more money problems as we're not looking too good in the money department as far as income comes right now. But we'll hopefully be able to reverse that fairly quickly once we get Bavaria and Venice dealt with here in the next few turns. We're going to end the turn here and see what transpires with their movements. As we're kind of quickly bolting through this, as Poland's starting to make an advance on us now that we're hitting the second turn. Looks like the Ottomans are starting to make some moves as well. We'll see if they move up into our borders here. Obviously, I don't want them getting to Croatia before it is finished building up its there. But anyways, Bavaria's going to be sallying forth, so let's go ahead and fight this battle. This should be a pretty good one. We got a pretty good force here, I should think. Bavaria is no slouch, so they're going to put up a decent fight, I would think. But you're going to see I'm going to at least try to envelop them with what I got. We'll see if we can pull it off. I do have some artillery here, and that should provide some help. But we'll see how it goes down. Probably going to edit this forward so we can get closer to where the battle starts. Alright, we got the Bavarian artillery that was out of range is detached, and they're sending their men up on a suicide charge. Very noble of them. We're definitely more than interested in obliging them on their much wanted deaths, so they're already losing men. They should break here pretty quickly. Now, in this sense, we are wanting Bavaria to be a protectorate. We're going to have to run down all their important units, and when I say important units, I mean obviously their artillery would be one of them, the line infantry, any cav units, and also militia or pikemen. The units I do want to leave so they have something left would be the citizens. Don't need many of them to be left, so we're going to have to keep our general there to where he can run down some of these guys. So this is another reason why it's going to be important for us to try to envelop them so that we can kill off the vast majority of their men so we can force them to become a protectorate. The less men that they have to defend, the more willing they are in accepting to become a protectorate. So that's what we're going to look at doing. Now, most of their men are going to be these citizens, and most of those are on our left flank or the Bavarian right flank. So it's kind of nice for us because there is a downward slope, so we're going to look to use our general, which we got to be very careful with, as Austria has very low morale. We got to be very careful with not losing our general. So we're going to make a move here, and we got to pay attention to where our artillery is shooting as well. So obviously we don't want friendly fire. So we are now getting some breakage on the left flank or the Bavarian right. And we're going to start looking to envelop on our right flank, the Bavarian left. As you can see, we got some nice breakage going down. Let's get our men going. We don't want to shoot ourselves with artillery. Alright, so things are looking pretty solid so far. We just need to make sure we're running people down. Bavarian general is still on the battlefield, so we do need to be conscious of that, because that will hold their morale. We are starting to get a semi-envelopment going. Alright, and as we continue this battle, let me know in the comments below, have you ever done a campaign like this before, where you have declared war on everyone after the first turn? If you have, please let me know in the comments below. Ooh, nice hit on the general there with the canister shot. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, have you done this before? If so, how far did you get? Did you get very far at all? If you did, let me know. I think it'd be interesting to know how well people done. We got one Bavarian citizen came back over there, coming off the slope of that hill on the left side. But we do have some nice breakage on some of these other units. Getting some of them run down with our general as we whittle down. Our right flank is looking very solid. We got some Bavarians looking to start routing as they are breaking now. On the left, that one citizen is just hanging in there way more than he should. Nice canister shots going in. We're going to continue to envelop as we get this breakage. Our pikeman is pretty depleted. He's down to 59 men, but he's doing his job keeping them from shooting while we engage them in melee, so our militia and such and line infantry can pummel them with some shots. Still got our general in the background running down these guys, getting a canister shot to whittle down their numbers a bit more there. Once again, it's very important for us to run down as many of these regular units as possible. The ones we want to leave some alive are going to be these citizens. And you see those 44 militia running. Obviously, I edited that so we didn't have to sit through it, but we whittled them down pretty good, as you can see from the results. And that should provide us with the ability to force them into a protectorate. We'll see how it plays out here in just a moment. So one thing, if we are not able to get Bavaria as a protectorate, we're going to be in some rough shape. We only got 6,800 in the bank, and we're in the negative as far as our projected income. So we have to establish not just a protectorate, but a trade partner as well. So we have to get them to do a trade agreement, which they accept. So now we do have a trade partner, which is super beneficial to us. It'd be nice if we can swing over there and get Württemberg before things go too far. So we're going to start moving some troops over there and look to advance this army to take on Württemberg, as they are damaged from battling the French. We're looking at negative 300 for the next turn, 345 to be exact. And that's only going to get worse because we are recruiting more troops, which we need to continue to push into the field. We are still going to have some money left over before the end turn, so that should help as well. And we should, by theory, fight Venice and lose some men in that fight, so that should drop our expenses a little bit, but we'll be able to see that momentarily. All right, so another thing is, since we do have some men recruited and the Polish are a little far away, I'm going to go ahead and make a bold move here. We're going to start going after the Ottomans. If these regions we take, if they go rebel afterwards, that's pretty much okay with me. My biggest concern is taking these regions from them so that they have to either regain them from being rebel or they're just blocked from the rebels altogether, because the rebels won't attack us. They're just going to hold their own ground. So that should help us quite a bit if we can do that. It'll give us a buffer on our south, because we don't want to fight battle after battle on the same end turn. That will be quite problematic for us. All right, so in the meantime, let's go ahead and try to take Venice. And once again, Venice is a pretty wealthy region, so taking that region will be very important for us, as we are going to look to do the same thing. We're going to look to do that a lot with these early portion battles, is envelop our enemy and then take them out that way. They do have one cav coming over here on our left flank that we're going to have to be careful for. So we'll try and get our militia set up for that so that he can cover our movements. Looks like he's coming in faster than I thought. Let's see if we can get formed up. Send the pikemen forward. Yeah, he's probably going to get into me before we do get set up, unfortunately, but the other militia should be set up and shooting. Nope, he's still got 1 or 2 men getting formed up. But we should get shots into him here momentarily. And once again, you might be like, Faramir, you're going to be shooting your own men. Okay, sure, I might shoot a couple, but most of them are going to be shooting over the heads of our men into the men on the horse back. So sure, we might shoot some of our own men in the head, but in my thinking, it'll be quick and over with very quickly for them. So if they do get shot by their friends, it will be over for them very fast. Fast and painless, guys. That's how we like to roll. All right, so that cav should be broken. Yep, they're down to 5 men and gone. All right, so see ya, cav. It was nice knowing you. We're on the move. Let's get back to pushing on the Venetians now. I think that takes care of all their cav with the exception of their general. Alright, so as we push forward, a couple things I want to talk about as we move forward is I get tons and tons of comments from people. Faramir, why don't you do mods? Why don't you do any mods, Faramir? Well, the reason I don't do mods is mostly because I don't like any of them. Because they don't really do the improvements that I really want to see in the game. And that's just how it is. I think there's some people out there who have done some really great work on some mods, but for my preferences, they're not up to what I want to see. That's why I don't do any mods. So that way I don't have to keep answering that question. We'll just nip it in the butt real quick. And yes, for those of you out there who think mods improve AI, that is completely wrong. It does not. There is no mod, even though there's many that claim that they can improve the AI. None of them in actual fact do. They actually act the exact same way that it does in vanilla, with the fact that makes the illusion of it look like it is the fact that the mods will they have more men, so when you have all those men pushing at you, I think that's why some people think. And also the fact that you're, like in Darth mod, your men will break a little faster. I think that's another reason. But anyways, back to this. We are pushing over here on the Venetian right flank. We are in a situation where we can get 2 shots onto 1 unit, and that's a definite benefit to us. These are both citizens, so we should quickly win that fight against those units. And as they move back, we're going to use that advantage to move forward on them. As we break these 2 units here on the Venetian right flank, we should look to be able to envelop them completely at that point. But we'll see how it goes down. I did leave 1 line infantry behind. There we go. I finally saw it. Look at these citizens. They're getting aggressive. One of them's broken. The other one should break fairly quickly. So let's go ahead and start our movement around them. So we engage another couple citizens here. And we continue our advance on the downward slope of the hill. Okay. That unit should break quickly. I'm shocked that it hasn't already. Okay, so things are looking really good here. We got them pretty nicely encircled. We're going to start shifting. Yeah, we'll take a little damage in the shift, but that's quite all right. We won't take that much damage, and that will help us to end this battle a little quicker. We got the general engaging on us here, so we'll get some shots in on them. Pikemen coming in. It's not going to fare well for my militia there, but oh well. All right. Set up our cav here shortly to do a downhill charge on this line infantry. Got another Venetian troop there breaking. Going to continue to envelop. Once we kill that general, that should take us a long way to finishing this battle off. As my militia gets defeated there by their pikemen. So they have broken my envelopment for 2 of the units. The rest of them are absolutely encircled. We are going to commence this downhill charge on this line. That should break that one pretty quickly. Getting our pikemen to fight their pikemen. Our pikemen can fight your pikemen. Alright, here comes that downhill charge. That should kill him off pretty quickly. Yep, he's already starting to break. And he is gone. Alright, so I had one Venetian unit come back, I think. That general should be dead at some point here soon. There we go, getting some more breakage going down. And this one should be pretty much over. There is a couple Venetian units entrenched back there, which those will be no problem. I don't think there's any need to show that, as this battle is pretty much won at this point. Their general has bit the dust, and there's just that citizen over there in the woodland, and everything else is broken. So this battle is in the book. Just note that I will be running some of these men down that you're not going to get to see, just to help boost some chevrons on my men to get some experience. All the experience is going to help for these poor Austrian souls. All right, so there's the results of that battle. And Venice is ours. We're going to have to spend some of that money fixing this up. Getting ourselves situated in northern Italy. And we are now in the positive in the income for the next turn, which is definitely a good thing. All right, so now that we have these 2 regions in our grasp, there's the problem that now we're bordering the Italian states and Spain here in northern Italy. So we're gonna have to deal with them pretty quickly, and I don't want to wait too long to do that. It's important for us to keep our aggressiveness, and also Württemberg is a problem. If we can get them taken out, maybe get that over to Bavaria. But I can't even talk anymore. Get that over to Bavaria, and then that will buffer us from France. But we'll see what we can get done there here shortly as we look to get ourselves fortified against the incoming Polish. At some point, they should be coming. And then, again, we're going to be going after the Ottomans here in the south and allowing those regions to go rebel if we need them to, or, you know, whatever. Those regions that the Ottomans hold in southern Europe are not very wealthy at the beginning of the game. So, really, if I take them, they're going to be hard to hold because, as we end the intern here, just because it opens up to invasion. Spain will drop, armies from the sea into Bosnia and so forth. So it just doesn't make sense for me to hold them until I get more established and can have the resources to be able to hold those regions. You can see the Ottomans beefed up a little bit with some extra units there before we get to Bosnia. Okay, we got a rebellion here. Wasn't really prepared for that, but hey, I guess we'll have to, that kind of sucks because I did just recruit those militias up that I had to kill with my rebel army, but it is what it is. So now we are a republic, so that's a thing. And if I'd have been paying attention, which I should have, I could have prevented from recruiting those militias, and that would have made the battle to take that less bloody. But honestly, we didn't lose too much from our rebellion army. And yeah, here we go against the Ottomans with our Austrian Republic. We'll do that battle in just a minute. As you can see, we got some Ottomans coming in, going after Hungary, and the Polish are there definitely looking hungry to take Hungary. I know, I had to do it, guys. I'm sorry. I just had to. Alright, so before we get that done, let's take a look at things. You can see where we stand there. We should get all that fixed once we get our buildings fixed up for our public order and such in Austria. Okay, so we're fighting France. They just took out Württemberg. It's important we do this because I don't want to be sitting here with France getting too strong. So it's important we go after them as fast as possible. Okay, so Bavaria is at war with quite a few people, and because they were one of my allies, so they did declare war on a lot of nations. So they're gonna be at odds with a lot of people. So maybe that wasn't such a good idea, but yeah, you know, live and you learn. Live and you learn, I always say. Okay, continuing with the aggressiveness, you're going to see I'm going to start taking this army over here on to an advance onto the Italian states. So we're going to see if we can instigate a battle with them and knock out their army in the field, and then look at taking Rome afterwards, or hopefully making them a protectorate. But we'll see what happens. All right. Italian states next on the menu. Let's get to it. Alright, so as we advance into this battle, I'm going to set up again, always early battle, I'm looking to envelop them, and heck, even late. But with the late battle, we have at least fire by rank and those type of things hopefully set up. But in the meantime, we're going to be setting up in layers of defense with 3 basic layers of defense to, as they attack, we'll fold back our first layer and then push them to the flanks to hopefully let them envelop themselves if they attack us. But if they don't, I guess just watch and you'll see how I maneuver, because maneuvering is very important in this game. So you can see how I can maneuver out of this formation of my 3-layer deep formation on advance into pushing them out. And you can see I'm spreading as wide as possible so that I'm spreading against the whole line of their army, so that way they face us forward with this. And they're pushing back, so we'll be able to take out their artillery that's on those barricades first. Once we take them out, that should entice them to attack us in theory. That's usually what happens, so we'll see how it goes here in just a moment. And then we should see what the Italian States Cav wants to do. One thing that's good is we are on the slope of the hill coming down the slope, so their Cav or any of their units do have to attack into our full frontal force by charging uphill. And here we go. We got 2 units already starting to get shots into them. Of course, they're militia, so they're not very accurate, but our more accurate line behind should get some nice shots into them, which we are. Cav is already half strength now. Looking good in the neighborhood. Okay. Cav is almost dead. I want to try and kill him to the man, but it looks like he's going to break. He does break with 26 men or so. So unfortunately, he does get away with some of his men. It would have been kind of ideal to get rid of all of them, but hey, can't have everything you want. Alright, so we're going to now shift and go into a single line now that their Cav is dead. We still need to take out their artillery. We're moving up the pikemen. Let's see how we can get up here and make the Italian states maneuver a little bit better, so it's more favorable for us. But once again, we do have the slope of the hill, which is nice, so we have the high ground. So it looks like one unit is going to allow us to take a 3-on-1 approach. So we got our line infantry and 2 militia will be able to shoot at this 1 militia here. Just got to get them in range. Then we can start a 3-on-1 situation. We can kind of start moving to envelop over there. Alright, so you can see here we got all of our men now firing into that 1 unit. He can only shoot at 1 unit at a time, obviously. Okay, so as we move around on the right flank, we'll see if we can entice another unit to come out to start another kind of 3-on-1 situation, but we'll see how they advance forward. Almost got a space for a shot there. That should put me in range. And that's going to cause them to shift now. Get that militia on the left down to 81 men. He's done a slight bit of damage. Now he's in the 70s. Okay, now we got another unit coming up. This is going to be a militia, so we're going to send our pikes into him while we continue to whittle down the others. Line infantry just got a shot into him. All right, now we're continuing to move around. We're getting a nice envelopment going here. Let's tighten it up. We're almost completely encircling them. We can work to that once we kill off this militia here. Should be a little better off at doing that. It's getting down. You can see how we're trying to level this off here. Okay, we'll be able to take shots at his general here pretty quick. There we go, almost broke him. We got 1 unit behind. I think that's the cav. Yeah, those dragoons came back. One of our very depleted pikemen's about to break, but that's okay. Alright, our militia's getting hit basically in the back. It's just no bueno. He's probably going to break. But their militia is down to 20 men, and he is about to break as well. So that means we are in prime position to completely envelop the rest of their troops here. We're going to take out their artillery. Their general's starting to move off with that dragoon. We are getting some shots into that dragoon as he runs down my militia, that little bastard. There goes my pikeman. He's down to 9 men, so he's toast. Let's go ahead and move up. Let's get these guys situated. We don't want to lose another unit over there. These Italian units right here should break pretty quickly. The artillery should break. It's almost down. The fact their general is still around is probably one of the biggest factors why they're not breaking now, but now they are breaking, so that pretty much puts this battle over with. Here comes their cav charging through my militia, so we'll countercharge them. I'm gonna kill some of my own militia there in that process. There it goes. Yeah, I just charged the back of my militia, charging into him. Lost about 12 men, but it's militia. They're cheap to replenish. That should break off that dragoon. And now we're into the general. We got that pikeman almost completely killed off. The dragoon is done. And now it's just the general. So this battle is pretty much in the books. We'll have to run down that general. Want to kill him and make sure that he doesn't come back on the battlefield. Hopefully we just have to face off against those citizens when we siege Rome, and that will put us in really good shape. There we go. got a good cav charge into the back of that general's bodyguard as our dudes here coming. Oh, there he goes. The general just died, and that is that. We'll run down the general, make sure he doesn't exist on the map anymore. And anyways, that battle comes to a close. Okay, fairly good results there. And just gonna see if we can get a unit over here to siege them. It might just be a cav because all the other units are in movement. If I was able to, I would attack them so that we could take Italy outright right now, or not Italy, but the Rome, and we can't do that because they do have a walled city. So anyways, they're under siege. That puts us in really good shape. We got the Italian states pretty much on the ropes, and if they become a protectorate, that'd be good for us. If they don't, then we'll have Rome. We are losing money. We're down 65. So we'll go ahead and fight the Ottomans here, and that should help with our loss of income. A lot of this, once again, is because of our recruitment of troops. So any men we lose here will help with our expenses. So hey, you know, some losses isn't going to be necessarily bad here. All right, so here you can see what I'm talking about, where the Ottomans have really no cav to speak of. They might be able to recruit camels in some instances, but camels are slow. And with the mobility of our cav, all we need is the cheap militia and pikes to face off versus their line. Then we can come in around behind them, charge them in the back when they're engaged with our infantry. In this case, they're in movement, and they're in movement going downhill, so I should be able to charge right into the back of them. So that's why you see me charging directly into their front, because they are in movement. Now they are getting set up, so they might get a shot here, which they do. They only get 2 cav done because they just barely got set up. So great hit. They're starting to break there on the right, and I only lost 4 men in that. And I'm sending another unit up to take the pikemen up to take any shots that they would have taken before the militia got there. So he was kind of a meat shield, and we're going to completely break this right flank. As you can see, I'm moving up my militia on the left, start keeping them boxed in there so our cav can take them out. There we go. That armed populace finally breaks. We'll run them down, and the cav can come in, smash right in the back of these guys, and now they are completely surrounded, and we are going to see a mass rout take place. It looks like it's getting contagious, and it is. So this battle is quickly over. Hey, that was fast and painless, wasn't it? All right, that dude should break here pretty quick with all those routing dudes around him. Surprised he hadn't already. Haven't even lost that many men. I've lost a few cav. There he goes. He's starting to break now. Got 2 routing dudes around him. He should go. There he goes. All right, so that battle's that. Hope you guys did enjoy. I think we'll end the first episode here. If you did enjoy this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. It's going to get intense, guys.